Though we are yet to battle Asgard's greatest champion, if Atreus' vision is any inclination, the fight between Kratos and Thor seems all but fated. In this clash of gods, it's more than likely that we will see their mythical weapons clash as well, principally the contest between the God of Thunder's legendary hammer Mjolnir and the Leviathan axe of Laufey the Just. Despite these two being forged for entirely different purposes, they were birthed by the same hands, these being the master dwarven smiths, Brock and Sindri. Though the myth of Mjolnir's creation has been altered from the original story, it seems to be no less powerful than what we might expect. Within the God of War universe, Odin commissions the hammer for his son from the dwarven smiths, rather than the contest between the Holdra brothers and the sons of Ivaldi in the traditional myth. Looking to gain notoriety for their craftsmanship, their tireless work yielded the mythic hammer. Regrettably, they could have never comprehended the atrocities their masterwork would wrought upon the world. Due to Odin's obsession to avert Ragnarok and seeing the giant race at the heart of its prevention, Thor proceeded to mass murder the giants of Midgard. One by one, they were snuffed out until the Jotun race had no choice but to seal their realm from the reach of the Aesir gods and the destructive power of Thor's hammer. But before this final exodus, the hammer's creators had a battle of conscience over what they had unwittingly done. Though they debated, they eventually came to the conclusion that they must do something to balance the scales of power once more, and so, the axe known as Leviathan came to be. In the hands of the giantess known as Laufey the Just, it fought against the will of the Aesir and for the protection of her people. Upon her death, the axe passed to her husband and was brought to its full glory throughout the journey of Kratos and Atreus, two sides of the same coin, but which will prove truly without equal. Though both are some of the mightiest weapons across the realms, neither of their creations were without tribulation. In both the traditional and God of War mythology involving Mjolnir, Brock was unable to work the bellows to the best of his ability as a fly pestered him and bit him in the eye, blinding him with his own blood. This resulted in the hammer having a shorter hilt than originally intended. Though mostly a cosmetic defect, a similar occurrence transpired in the forging of the axe. According to the lost pages of Norse myth, after 2 weeks of constant labor, Brock once again fell victim to a bite, but this time it was deadly. Poison from a spider would kill Brock where he stood, and only after Sindri was able to reclaim his spirit from the Lake of Souls in Alfheim was he brought back to life. An incredible coincidence to say the least. The fly in the original myth was Loki in disguise, attempting to sabotage the work of the two smiths for his own gain. However, the forging of the hammer predates Loki's birth in this timeline, so his involvement is uncertain to say the least. Both weapons were crafted to always aim true and to always return to the hand of their master. An impressive ability, and one that remains a hallmark of the two brothers' craftsmanship. In the traditional mythology, Mjolnir also has the ability to change size, but whether this will be manifested in God of War's universe is yet to be seen. The hammer also parallels the abilities of Thor, making the two a more harmonious duo, a lightning hammer for the god of thunder, more so than Kratos and the Leviathan. Perhaps in the hands of Laufey, a giantess, the imbued power of frost in the axe was even more potent in her hands, but this is obviously only speculation. Though Mjolnir may be more battle-tested than the Leviathan, there are several key components in its making that could give it an edge over its sibling, and more importantly, its wielder. As it's stated in the lost pages of Norse myth, the axe is sharpened to a point of a razor that dwarven craft will ensure would never dull. It's also perfectly balanced between its curved hilt and its powerful blade, but it may be Sindri's final touch that yields the definitive answer to our question. As it's once again stated in the lost pages, the final work upon the weapon was to imbue its design with a potent magical power unmatched in any realm. As to the specifics of what this great power is, only time will tell. So it was named Leviathan, a nod to the serpent who was so great that it encircles the whole world. Born to oppose the hammer that preceded it, much like Jormungandr is the destined enemy of Thor during the twilight of the gods. Interestingly enough, this is not the only connection the axe shares with the world serpent. When Kratos first hurls the axe into the Lake of Nine, it's returned to him Aether imbued, a small detail that could carry massive consequences. This is because Aether is not only the liquid from which all life originated, creating the giant Ymir, the ancestor of all Jotunkind and the grandfather of Odin, but also a deadly poison contained within Jormungandr, the same poison destined to kill Thor during Ragnarok. In conclusion, though Mjolnir may be the mightiest weapon of the Aesir gods, responsible for their dominance over the remaining realms, it may now have a worthy adversary, a weapon specifically designed to be its undoing, wielded by one who is no stranger to ending gods. Unless Kratos is unable to unleash the full power of the Leviathan axe, I believe it will stand tall against Mjolnir and the famous god of thunder. And that brings our journey to an end. If you'd like to see more content like this, likes and shares are always appreciated, and if you really like what we're doing at the channel, come and join our community and hit that subscribe button. Also consider supporting the channel on Patreon to help us create new series and to supply more quality content just like this. Check out the link in the description. And if you have a great idea or interesting question that could lead to our next episode, let us know in the comments down below. And until next time, thanks for watching, and keep questing.